size 12 barbless grub hook, and normally I'd tie these 14s, 12s, 10s, so this is the middle of the road size for this style of fly anyway. Thread I'm going to be using, this is, I've done it upside down, there we go. It's the uni thread light Cahill in 8/0, and it's the yellow yarn. This is a white yarn that I'd bought and dyed and then put it on an old spool so that I could use it, and obviously onto a bobbin holder. Now first thing I'm going to do is lead the body, and I'm going to use the lead. This is just a lead sheet or foil, and I cut slip off the side from a millimeters just up to 2mm thick. So I'm going to get a tapered, or it makes it easier to actually get a taper. Now I'm going to start just at the back here, this point, and then put down a layer all the way to, basically I'm in line with the point of the hook. Break that off and that point. You can rub it with the back of your nail to flatten it. And then, about a turn and a half up, we start again. And I'm going to wind up till again I'm in line with the point of the hook. And I'm going to do it again, just slightly again, a turn or so up from the second layer. And all the way up. And that gives you your taper, and stop it again at that point there. As I say, just rub it with the back of your nail just to flatten it. That'll help you form the taper. Now the body still will start a bit down here, a couple of millimeters below the lead, and you could use a tungsten or a sort of gold bead or something at the head if you want as well, but you'd obviously have to put that on. So it's up to yourself how heavy or whatever you want. This is a kind of, I would say, probably a medium weighted sort of nymph. And thread is, I'm going to start with the Cahill, obviously tying the Cahill thread, and I'm going to quickly just take it down using the waist piece as a guide and come back up. As I'm just zigzagging the thread on so it doesn't move. Now we bring the thread all the way back up to the eye. Now for the eyes, this is a kind of an option. This is, see, 12 nylon. It's called Sea Strike, and you get about a mile. I don't know exactly a mile, but just about. And this cost me £5 in the shop. You see, it's a fluorescent, it's a kind of fluorescent yellow. This is what I'm going to use for the eye. Just take a length off. And get yourself a pair of tweezers, pointed tweezers. If they're not pointed, then you can obviously, like I did, so just file them down into a fine point like that. And then hold about, you're looking for about 3mm either side of the. Now what I do here is, depending on how wide the eyes I want them to be apart. I mean, if I want them quite wide apart, I can further down and melt. In this case, I just, because it's such a small fly, then I bring it nearer the point, hold it tight, and then burn it right up against your tweezers at both sides. There we are. Now I usually keep it on the tweezers and then catch it with the thread a couple of turns. It's much easier to do that, and then position it where you want. Then trying to take it off the tweezers, and because they're so small. Now they're a bit uneven just now, so what I'm going to do here is just wave them to their centre. Or centre the eyes up anyway. And then once I'm happy, do a figure 8 2 or 3 times. And there we are. And that's your eyes, your small eyes. And then we can carry on down and tie in our body materials and our back for the body itself. As I say, this is a darling yarn. Now it was white and I've dyed it yellow. It's a nice pale yellow. You can buy it yellow. Sometimes the colours are not just right, and it does pay if you can dye it, but most of the browns and the greys that we use in Caddis patterns, the olives, well, some of the olives we've got to dye, but basically the browns, the greys and stuff are usually quite good. You don't really need to do them. Now for the back, I'm going to use, this is the stuff here, it's called Scud back. The width is 1/8 brown, and it's ideal for the back of these nymphs, or the pupa. The first thing you do is, what I usually do is cut into a point, so that makes it much easier to catch the point in, and then quite wide turns at this point. Take it down, just try and get it as neat as you can. You can stretch it out. You want it onto the bare hook, so that's because you need that as your taper, and then tidy up, come back up, just making a nice shape, and making sure everything's well tied in. And then I'm going to remove the thread. I'm going to put it back on once I've formed the body. So just do a wee whip finish and then take away your thread. And then we're left with our yarn. Yarn's going to tie in and form the back and obviously the body. First turn I usually do is underneath, scud back. Then I do a turn in front, and then basically catch this in, stretch it, so you get helps to get the taper. And you do a turn. Now I'm going to check this point just to see what it looks like. I like a nice start to it. If I'm not happy, which I'm not, I'm going to go back. It's much easier to go back. I just want this a wee bit tighter down the bottom. Let me see. Let's get it to start where you want. And then once you're happy, come round, tie over the top. Let me see. How's it look? And then if you're happy, then you start to come up, do another single turn in front, do another turn over the top of your scud back, and then obviously you're spacing out as you go up, and then do another, in this case 2 turns, and then do another turn, and another 2 turns. Make sure you get it nice and neat, as neat as you want, it's up to yourself. Now I'm not pulling it as tight so that I'm getting that taper. Just a wee check, see how things are looking. And then a couple of turns. And then another turn. That should do it. A couple of turns there. Now at this point, if you're not happy, you can always go back. So I'm just going to have a wee quick look to see how good, if it's sitting level. Taper's nice. I like the taper. I like to make sure I get a nice taper in the body. That looks okay. Looks fine to me. And then just basically tie in your thread again. Tie it over the top of the yarn. Trim away the waste piece of the thread and your yarn as well. Just take it up to your scud, up to the scud back, up to this point here. Now this is where you've stopped in line with the point of the hook. So your thread, everything else is in that point. And then for the legs, this is just a partridge feather. Now you get 2 or 3 flies out of this feather. So and all I do is cut, if you'll see there, I've cut the stem, remove, and you've got a right and a left side. As I say, you'll get another fly out of that, especially that size of feather. And then you're always hoping these are the same length, the level. And these are not too bad. And all I do is put the V, so there's fibres down either side with the top of the hackle, the front of the hackle and the top. And you want the fibres towards the end of the hook. And all I do is just come in, hold them with my fingers, come round with a couple of turns, just loose turns. So a wee quick look, see how they're sitting. if you want, like this side here, I want it just slightly further down, so I'm just going to use my thumb to push them down the side. Same on this side, the same. And once you're happy, then you can tighten up. Come in and remove the waste, and then just tidy up the fibres. These cut ends, I missed a couple, but I can always tidy up. There we are. Now for the thorax, I've got some dyed brown seal's fur. This is adult seal's fur, it's slightly coarser. Use what you've got. You could use SLF, I mean these all work, and it's entirely up to yourself. Now I've dubbed this on, and then I start, because I've got a tapered thorax area, it's going to be quite easy to form a tapered part of the body anyway. Now it's slipped a wee bit there, so what I'm going to do is just come back, stretching out the seals. Keep making sure I get that shape that I want. Right up against the eye, and even a turn or so at the eye with the dubbing. That should do it. Make sure anything that's going forward is drawn back with and pulled back with the thread. Be quick look, it's fine. Now I'm going to change the colour of the thread to brown. I'm just going to use a permanent marker. Tip of the pen on and run it down the thread. It's the quickest and easiest way to change it to the colour it suits. And then what I do here is bring over the scud back, come round, a couple of turns, maybe 3 just to see how things are sitting. There we are. And then I'm going to put on the horns. Now the horns are bronze mallard. This is just bronze mallard here. I want a couple of fibres. Just bring them out so that the tips line up. Once the tips are lined up, tear it away. Length, you're looking really about, see if you look at the length of the hook, full width of the hook, so you're looking that and a half, I would say would be fine. Just come over again with a couple of loose turns, right, just to get them in position. Looks okay. Tighten up and do a turn top side, this side of the eyes. Bring over the scud back plus the waist ends. This will tuck them back. Just pull them so they're in between the eye. Tighten up. You can see how it's looking now. And then super glue, in this case. Use varnish if you want. I'm going to put super glue down the thread. Come in with 3 or so turns, and then come in with wet finish. And then you'll find that that's very tight. Should never pull out. Trim away the scud back. Just come in. Doesn't have to be perfect up tight against it. You can leave a wee bit. Get your waist. Bronze mallard. And just watch, don't cut your horns. Trim them away. And there we are. And then to get some more legs out it, get some velcro. Bring out some of the seal's fur. See, once you start tying these flies, they're simple. They really are. I mean, obviously I'm taking my time to explain the tying, but I reckon I could probably tie one of these around about 6 minutes or so, and before you know where you are, you've got really plenty of these in your box, and at the same time you've got a very fishy and realistic pattern. It just looks like, if you see the natural, it's very like it's most of when you see it wet. Just clean this up a wee bit. And there we go. Just all I'm doing here is rubbing the top with my fingers just to bring down the horns a wee bit, just to get that nice shape. And there we go. You see, it makes a great body. It's an excellent. The wee eyes catch the light. As you can see there, as I turn that, you'll see it catching the light. And just enjoy tie olive, browns. I mean, just mix it. You can buy the Scud bark in different colours. Clear even works really well on a grey body. It just gives that nice shine.